Okay, so this is meant to be a completely beginner's guide to playing CSGO, like competitively, maybe for the first time, like during your first ranked game. So just a couple of tips to help out complete beginners. What I did was you pick one map, you learn that map, you get good at that map, and then once you feel comfortable on it, once you know where A is, where B is, the important like key positions on the map. So say for Mirage like mid, you'll need to know the names of all the places like catwalk, short. Just once you get like generally comfortable on the map, add another map in. Go through, do this one at a time for all the maps till you've learnt them. Once you've learnt them, or maybe even before, you'll want to change all your binds and your mouse settings. So come into here, keyboard mouse. You'll want to change your mouse sensitivity. Now this will change depending on your mouse DPI, and changing your mouse DPI changes depending on what mouse you've got, but if you have say a Razer one, you'll want to open the Razer Synapse software. Other mice have similar software, just look yours up, find your DPI, and I'd recommend dropping your DPI down to something around something between like 4 or 800. I have mine at 800. It's going to feel really slow at first, so if it does, just bump this right up. You'll want to gradually work your way down to a low sensitivity. It's not the case that low is better, it's just you'll pick it up as you go along that you're more accurate with a low sensitivity, so you'll miss like less of sort of the easy kills that you should be getting. Like if someone's like not even facing you and say you've like panicked and flicked past them or whatever, it'll stop stuff like that happening. So I would recommend gradually dropping your sensitivity until you get something close to mine, or even lower if you can go for it. So mine's 1.49 and 800 DPI. You'll also want to check that raw input's on. This means that the Windows settings, like where you have your pointer and cursor options in the Windows control panel, that means that that doesn't affect the speed of your mouse, so you'll want raw input on. Also means that Windows doesn't have to take the input of your mouse, process it, and then give it to the game, and then the game process it. Just cuts down the time, makes it a quicker input. So mouse acceleration, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but I know there's a big argument over having it on or off. Personally, I'd say if this is your first FPS, turn it off. If it's not your first FPS and you've used it in other games, then keep it on, just whatever you're comfortable with. Other than that, I would check all your binds, make sure they fit with what you're comfortable with. So I, for example, have switched my walk key to caps lock from shift because I find it easier to press with my little finger. Another thing you really want to do is, if we go down here to grenades, you'll want to put all your grenades on individual keys. So I have, for example, my flash right next to the D key, the F key, so it's really easy to pull out, because flashes are normally something you're going to want to be pulling out fast and throwing immediately. You don't want to be like fat fingering any other keys, so that's the easiest one for me to press. Just experiment, see what you want to change keys to. Once you've done all that, obviously start playing the game, get used to maps. I wouldn't recommend buying grenades at first for like say your first couple of games, because I found when I was like really low rank when I was first starting, you wouldn't really know what you were doing with grenades. Like you wouldn't understand, say like you come out here, like a standard smoke is to throw one down here. Now not many people that are just starting the game are going to know that this is like helpful at all, because they're going to think, well, no, I can't see the window, no, I can't shoot people. So you need to play the game for a bit first and get a feel of like where the opposing team are going to be, what positions you're having trouble with. So for example, say you've came mid and you've tried to like shoot this guy, you've realised it's not working, you're going to just die every round. You might think, I need to deal with this guy, so I'm going to start throwing a smoke down here, make it so I can get behind here, and make it so I've got the option to take this fight right here. Or I can just leave it there and attempt to like spray through the smoke over here if I think he's going to be on the corner, or basically just figure out where the enemy's going to play and use your grenades around that. Don't worry about using them right at the start, because particularly with flashes, I remember when I first started using flashes, I was more like, right, there's a guy in window, I'm going to flash him. There we go, I got him. Now that flash is terrible, it might look good because it still got him, but when I'm running out here to throw it, I'm probably dead by now. When I'm throwing it like this, he's probably in the window, saw the flash, and he's like, oh, there's a flash coming towards me, I may as well hide. Waits for the flash to go off, comes back, and he's ready to kill you when you peek, because you've heard the flash go off, and now you're expecting him to be blind, but really he's not, and now he's killed you again. So, until you get the hang of how to throw flashes, so for example, for this flash, you'd want to do something like, you might want to throw it from down here, and have it just pop in the air, like something like that, so it gets a bit less of an arc to see, and you're not exposed by throwing it from down here. You could even throw it from all the way back here. You'll get even less time. So you can see there, he gets that little bit to react. So until you get used to how to throw flashes, how to throw smokes, I wouldn't worry too much about buying them. It's just going to be taking a lot of money, and for now you'll want to be just buying guns. So on the topic of guns, what you'll want to do when you first start is use the AK. Get really good with the AK. If you're on CT side, you'll want to use the M4A4 or the M4A1S, depending on obviously which one you have in your loadout. You can change it in your loadout. If you go in the inventory and then find the gun, right click and select the CT side. So the difference between these two guns, this one has 30 bullets, this one has 20. This one has a silencer, this one doesn't, and they both have different spray patterns, which is our next topic. So unlike any of the shooters you might have played, CSGO has set spray patterns. So if you see this, you'll see it goes like up, to the left, to the right, to the left, and that there is very set. So if you see me do it again at the side, it'll do the exact same pattern. So you can see that the exact same thing, up, to the left, to the right. So every single time you fire, it's going to do this exact pattern with this gun, but the pattern changes for every gun. So if I take the M4A1S, you'll see it does something very similar to the AK. Now if I do the M4, this one's slightly different. You see it goes up and slightly to the right before it goes left. So what you'll want to do, what I would recommend starting with, is because they all immediately go up, I'd recommend learning just the first couple of bullets, something like this. You can see with just me pulling down, you can get a really tight spray pattern. So just learn how to do this with these three guns. Don't worry at all about any of these guns, particularly any of these. None of these are particularly useful. They're very situational in certain situations. Pistols, I would practice the Tech 9, the P250, and the 5.7 on CT side, which is like a gun in this slot here. Switch out the CZ if it's there, swap it for a 5.7, you'll have a lot better time, particularly at the lower ranks. Unless you're a pro, the CZ is incredibly hard to use. So once you've learnt these spray patterns, you'll want to start correcting your aim. When you run around the map, don't be doing this. Loads of beginners start aiming at the floor. You want to always try and have your crosshair, sorry, at head height. So if you're expecting like a player, say this corner, you want to be coming around the corner like this, ready to shoot him. Because if the player's there, you can just shoot rather than have to, oh, there's a player there, now shoot. It takes longer and it's harder to do. So yeah, this is pretty much all I'm going to go through. The pick and one map thing, like when I said at the start, I would recommend starting with Mirage. Either this or maybe Inferno. I find these are probably two of the simpler maps. Particularly Inferno, because Inferno B site only has one way you have to defend. You might want to start that. Maybe play Inferno and play B site. It's one of the simpler ones to defend. So once you learn these maps, obviously learn the other one and go through the custom maps, the train, overpass. You've got Cobble, you've got Nuke. Those other maps are a lot more difficult to play. I'd put them towards the end of your learning it. And yeah, that's probably it for about now. I might make a follow-up on this if people like this sort of content. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully this helps any new players out there.